life, Satan tried to get me. Walking my shoes, devil trying to fit me. But he don't know I got the power fit me. Nah, he don't know I got the power. All my life, Satan tried to get me. Walking my shoes, devil trying to fit me. But he don't know I got the power fit me. Nah, he don't know I walk the power fit me. What?
Good evening, it's your man H-Rap coming at you once again. It's Tuesday, the 8th of February. This is Build and Destroy, where I attempt to build a community, destroy the lies and the propaganda that surround my community. This is an interesting program because I had something totally different. The title was something that has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about this evening. I'm going to talk about the repeated police violence in my city, Chicago, Illinois. You hear a lot about the violence, the street violence, the gang violence, the drug violence, all kinds of violence in impoverished communities and things of that nature on a regular basis here in Chicago. Tonight, I'm not going to talk about that because today there was a video released of a young man being assassinated by Chicago Police Department. Assassinated. I'm not going to give it a real pretty thing, tied up in a bow and make it sound nice because there's a mother without her son, a father without his son, their uncles, aunts, sisters, brothers, friends, and neighbors without a loved one today. The funny thing is, just found out that this guy went to the same high school I went. Of course, he's much younger than I am. He went to the same high school. He was supposed to be an upstanding student. He just earned his associate's degree at Morton College. Seemed to be a good young man, but I'm not going to talk about his character. I'm going to talk about the character of the Chicago Police Department and the reign of terror that they've put about my city over the last umpteen years, several decades. Going back to State's Attorney Henry Hand, who assassinated Fred Hampton in 1969. Talk about the police departments that have assassinated and murdered and incarcerated young Black men throughout the last several decades that I've been living, since the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and it looks like into the 2020s at this point. 4 or 5 years ago, young man, I think it was 2016, a little more than 5 years, about 8 years now. 2016, young man was shot right down the street in front of the police department 16 times. This young man was just brutally murdered in an alleged traffic stop. And I watched all day. I had this program set up to talk about the exploitation of young Black bodies in regards to college athletics. That's why you see the thumbnail that you see with Humpty Hump trying to be a little funny, trying to attract people with a little humor. But I decided not to talk about that. Talk about this young man, Dexter Reed. Dexter Reed, 26 years old. 26 years old. 26 years old. And was murdered by the Chicago Police Department. And they are alleging that he shot first. I'm going to show you the video in a little while. Show you the video shortly. When you see the video, you can determine if he did anything. Even if he did shoot first, excessive force is a word that needs to be used. Unnecessary violence. I just don't see where a 26-year-old man is firing on several police officers. They allegedly pulled him over for a traffic stop. This is kind of crazy simply because I'm out in the traffic a lot. Well, I used to be. And I have a son who's in traffic a lot. He lives far away from his mother. He lives far away from his aunts. He lives far away from everybody in our family. So he's going to be traveling through the city unapologetically and in imminent danger, it seems. I got uncles, I got aunts, I got cousins, I got nephews, I got great nephews, I got nieces, I got a ton of nieces. And they are all, at this point, they're all in jeopardy. And we find the need to apologize and equivocate and look for the reason this happened. Tonight and on any other night and for the rest of my life, I'm not going to talk about what should have happened. I'll go back to when Sandra Bland was murdered by the police, in my opinion. It's never established that they killed her, but we all assume that they did, and it looks as if they did. And the only reason I'm not saying that they did is because I don't want to be sued. But people were saying, hey, she should have just been quiet. And it's always, well, he shouldn't have did this and he shouldn't have did that. I have friends with children who've been killed by the police. I got relatives, father was killed by the police. Or his death was a result of action by the police. And it's just crazy, you know. We always go, if you wouldn't have, you must comply. All this young man did, and you'll see shortly, all this young man did was let his window up. And 96 rounds were let go. 40 of them let go after he fell out of his car bleeding, probably gasping for life, choking on his own blood. They said the documented report is one of the officers reloaded his firearm 3 times. 3 times. Reloaded 3 times. If you really want to get I'm going to show you the video shortly. And what I want you to do is also go to Netflix and watch this film. It's a documentary called 138 Rounds about another young man who was killed in Cleveland, Ohio, in the same fashion. Well, it's not the exact same fashion, but by the police, stood on a police cruiser, shot down at the man. 138 rounds went into his car. 96 rounds went into this young man's car. And it was, for that instance, it was a backfire vehicle. And they claim he took a shot at them. This young man is alleged to have taken a shot at the police officers. And when you watch the video, you will understand why I have a difficult time believing a young person surrounded by, I think, 5 police officers, a couple police vehicles, cornered on the corner of Ferdinand and it don't make a difference. West side of Chicago. And he was allegedly pulled over for a traffic stop. I've recently been pulled over for a traffic stop. And when I was pulled over, I had a police officer standing to my left, standing in the street. And there was another police officer standing on my right, alleged to, I'm assuming that's procedure to protect the officer, just in case I'm out of control. I can see that. But I've never been pulled over by a police officer for a traffic violation. And they cornered me into a vehicle. It cornered me, pinned me in, and 5 police officers surround my vehicle with weapons drawn, yelling and screaming. First and foremost, they are called tactical officers. They are supposedly fighting crime. Now, violation of city ordinances, thing like that. Traffic, that I guess technically that's crime, but I've never seen 5 officers jump out on on a traffic stop with their weapons drawn, yelling out obscenities and things of that nature. And when you see the video, you will understand this young man was assassinated, and it's time that the citizens of Chicago, the citizens of the United States of America, Black churches, Black mosques, Black halls, Jehovah's Witnesses halls, and things of that nature, we're going to have to put our differences to the side. Because this isn't a happenstance. This isn't a coincidence. This isn't an isolated incident. We're not going to get into this foolishness about, in Chicago, it's so violent. We're not going to have empathy for the police officer. The mayor, a Black mayor of the city of Chicago, stood up and all but, we're not going to accept violence against the police officers after 96 rounds of pump. That was a tactical haku part of his speech. That little phrase, when he acknowledged that the police officer was shot in the forearm, I went to see him. That was so the police union would stand behind this behind this mayor. That's all that was. He's still kowtowing to his his police department, things of that nature. At some point, I'm hoping my community will realize that after this, and if you look at the documentary on Netflix, 138 rounds, 139 rounds, 138, 139, it really doesn't make a difference. I'm hoping that you will realize there's a war going on outside. And I find myself in conversations because of my personality type. with people saying things like, oh man, he shouldn't have. Like I just said a second ago, he shouldn't have. What he should have done, what he could have done. See, he needs to understand. But what we need to understand is this: no matter how much we comply, no matter how much we stay in accordance, no matter how pleasant we are, and because it never happened to me, it never happened to me. So this is how you should handle it. Well, thank God it never happened to you. But I don't want it to happen to you either. I don't want to happen to your niece, nephew, cousin, uncle, aunt, grandparent, parent, neighbor, or what have you. But we are under attack, Black America. We could pretend and we could equivocate and see he shouldn't have. We could do that till the cows come home. But I am right now, I'm going to show you the video before I continue to talk. Show you the video. And this video will show you, look, if you are not, you don't have a strong stomach, please just tune away for a second. You might not want to watch this at all, but you'll understand why I'm angry as I'll get out. And, I don't want to hear all this nonsense about what should have been done. What shouldn't have been done is this young man been murdered. I'll be back in about a minute. That's all the video is, and it's a sad situation. I'll be back shortly.
Roll the windows down. Roll the window down, man. Roll the window down. What are you doing? Roll this one down. Roll that one down too. Hey, don't roll the window up. Don't roll the window up. Okay. Do not roll the window up. Unlock the doors now. Unlock the doors now. Unlock the doors now. Open the door now. Open the door now. Open the door now. David, shots fired. Shots fired. Hey! Hey! Shots fired. Fernando Neighbors. 10-1. 10-1. Hey!
As you see, there's no reason for that young man to be hit with that many rounds. They're saying that young man who you could literally, if you go back and watch the video at a later point in your life or whatever, you could even roll it back right now. You can see the fear in that young man's eyes. That's not the look, anybody is capable of anything. Anybody is capable of anything. That does not look like the type of young man that's pulling out a firearm, firing at police officers, knowing he does not have a chance if he does that. It's just kind of like with Mike Brown. They told us that Mike Brown reached into a police car and attempted to shoot the police officer, and that's how he ended up dead at first. Again, young man in the same community, on the south side of that community, he was shot 16 times by the police officer. And now and we can go chapter, book, and verse. The brother who was walking with his hands up in Oklahoma City. We can go chapter, book, and verse about everything that's happened to us in this country, And for the people who can equivocate and say what he should have done, what he could have done, what may have allowed him to live. But what about the next person? And what about the person after that? What about the person after that? See, what we're gonna have to stop doing is trying to understand why people who have displayed hatred and vitriolic behavior towards our community and our people for 400 years. 400 years, they've shown us nothing but hate and disdain for us, and we continue to try to say, it's people out here that's saying, I'm shocked. The sad part is, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at the amount of rounds that was let loose on that young man. I'm not shocked that young man was laying on the ground in that very video, and you had a guy to your far left, to your far right, to his left, shooting at the ground. An additional 40 rounds discharged after the young man is on the ground, posing absolutely positively no threat. You got this bozo of a mayor that I've defended to friends who've contacted me and said he's in over his head, who literally spoke about the police officer that was shot in his forearm, and we're not going to tolerate police violence. See, this is why I've been saying for months on end, this is a city in which people have been painted in a violent way simply to reduce property value and have rich land barons, so to speak, come in and buy up that property on the south side, on the west side. Hey, guess what, people? I've experienced violence in this city. I understand this is a dangerous city, but the sad part is this ain't even the most dangerous city in Illinois. But this is the most power hungry, power rich, land rich, opportunity rich city in the state. That's what it is. We're not gonna get into that though. But what I am gonna get into is this: city of Chicago, and I think it was around '91. This young man got murdered by gang members, and it became a citywide peace treaty with all the gangs. What I'm gonna ask my fellow citizens of Chicago to do is this: we're gonna get rid of this. I'm a Muslim, Christian, I'm a Jehovah Witness, I'm whatever you choose to praise, whatever way you choose to praise the good Lord. And what we're gonna have to realize is the great Malcolm X once said, they don't kill you because you're a Muslim or Jew or a Christian or Jehovah's Witness or Buddhist or whatever, sanctified, whichever way you praise the Lord. They kill you because you're black. And like I said a second ago, oh man, see, he should have just complied. I didn't see him non-compliant. If you're pulling me over because I didn't have a seatbelt, that means you should be asking me for my license and registration and my insurance card. That's all you need to be doing. You need it. I didn't hear that on the can. Thank you, Jungle Brother. It's called urban renewal. Exactly. We lost dozens of acres of land throughout this nation for the very reason. We got to stop making excuses for people. We have to stop arguing with each other. I'm from the South Side. I'm this. I'm light skinned. I'm that. I'm slim. I'm financially secure. I'm educated. I'm part of the divine nine. I'm part of the petty bourgeoisie. I make more money. See, you need to pull yourself now, because guess what? They'll pull you over too. They'll murder you too. This is an instance in which we need to be having these ridiculous arguments about if Donald Trump is our guy or is Joe Biden our guy. We don't have a guy. We don't have a lady. We don't have that. We have each other. And until we realize all we have is us, no matter what class you fit into, whatever box you want to check, oh man, I'm tired of this and I'm tired of that. Our young, old, and middle-aged people will continue to get struck down in the street. I don't know that young man, but I bet you he could have punked. I bet you it is a great chance as an uncle, neighbor, friend, family member, he could have added a good word to somebody's life. And now he's not going to be able to. In the Chicago Police Department, you in the billions of financing. See, this is why I've been saying for the last few months, we're worried about the migrants. Oh man, they're doing this for the migrants. They could be housing us. Chicago, Illinois, and every place around this country that's gonna put eyes on me tonight. This is what I want you to do. I want you to download this app. It's called 5 Calls. It is a 5 Calls app. It allows you to get in contact with the people in your city. You need to be calling everybody in every city that's watching tonight. Please, I want you to call your mayor's office. I want you to call your city councilman. I want you to call your state rep, your U.S. rep, your state senator, your U.S. senator, and call your governor. Because, see, rap, that ain't going to do anything. But what it does do is continue to galvanize the community. If it's a church in your community, I need you to go to the church. And I need you to talk to the pastor and ask him to create some type of community or meeting so we can organize a way to fight back against this foolishness. See, this is how our uncles and our aunts and some of you guys, grandparents, handled things in the 50s and the 60s. They organized. Me and my man Mo, we were talking business today, and we were talking about how the church at one point used to be the ground zero of the community. We need to recreate that ground zero. We are under attack, just like it's the 40s and the 30s and the 40s. It is time for us to come out like it is the 50s and the 60s. But we're not going to fall victim to the foolishness that came upon us in the 70s and the 80s now. How many times once we see our young people murdered, our brothers and sisters, ladies, aunts, uncles, nieces, and nephews murdered in the street, before we just say, you know what, it's time for us to do what we have to do to ensure the safety of each other. I can find a flaw in you, and you can find a flaw in me. Oh, this could have been, and look, we are in a situation in which people don't like us. And you can make excuses for whoever you want. You can say, see, he shouldn't have, and they could have, and this isn't possible, and all that nonsense. But how many times must we see videos where young black men and young black women, you got officers throwing 12-year-old girls to the ground? I remember at that pool party, you got Trayvon and the young man in Ohio. You jumping out of cars, the car not even stopping, you shooting them because you thought a 12-year-old boy had a gun. What's going to be an excuse now? And what we need to do is take notice of everybody who's saying anything but lock them up. I don't want to hear about anything else. I want to hear about, well, see, he was trying to get home. I do believe, unless I don't see where that young man was driving through the street, y'all done pull him over for speeding, y'all done pull him over for reckless driving, y'all done pull him over for shooting out his window, y'all done pull him over for any of that. But y'all pulled him over because he was putting his own life in jeopardy. You were putting it on. The only reason y'all care about his seatbelt, only reason that seatbelt law is in effect because the insurance company got tired of paying double indemnity on people who were getting killed in accidents. So I don't even want to hear about that. We have to learn how to unite. It is mass. And if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you saw Kwame Ture, aka Stokely Carmichael, said, we have tried everything. It's time for mass organization. And we have to stop with the foolishness. It is no way on God's green earth that you can excuse this. Oh man, it's this and it's that. No, this young man is dead for no reason at all. They violated their own statutes. They have violated their own rules. They violated him. Now his mother has to live the rest of her life without her son, crying. His father got to do the same. His sister has to do the same. His uncles, his friends. This is the creation of PTSD in our community. This creates a chain reaction of dismay. And we never address that. What we will do is bring about what he could have done, and then we'll get on the mayor. Is he accountable? Yeah, but is it his fault? No, it's not, because this was going on when the original Mayor Daley was going on, when they was taping Bobby Seale's mouth in courtrooms, and Fred Hampton was getting murdered. This was going on in the 70s. When State's Attorney Hemmerham was locking up people for no reason at all. This is going on during the Nixon administration. It's not just Chicago. I'm talking about Chicago thing, but this is going on when Nixon's #1 aide said we couldn't make being black and protesting illegal, so we put marijuana on the hippies and we put heroin in the black community, and we couldn't make black illegal, so we just put the heroin on them. Yeah, these are documented statements. You are under attack if you continue to believe that this is happenstance and this is just something that keeps happening on a regular basis. The reason it keeps happening is because you think you live up here, that we have this big me, little you mentality. And we will continue to suffer the ills of the wicked people of this country until we come together and fight as a fist instead of individual fingers. And as I was stating, you need to get up and you need to find you a pastor. One of these 10 million churches in this city, most of the pastors know each other. And we need to come together as a spiritual community, as a community, and as a Black community. And that's it. I don't care if you believe in Allah, all the way down to praying to a rock. You can believe Jesus, Jehovah Jireh, Allah, Buddha, all the way down to praying to a rock. It's time to stop figuring out ways that we're different and start trying to figure out ways to combat the people who are attacking us on a regular basis. Understand the police department started off as slave catchers. This is who they are. You got people talking about defund the police, and you got people being angry. Well, in my city, there are people living along the side of the interstate. In my people, there's people living under the interstate. Oh man, they got the migrants. We're not gonna worry about that right now because we got people. You know what the migrants is telling you? Situation with the migrants tells you this: that there are funds available to help you. Why is it that there are billions of dollars going to policing and stopping crime? And everybody knows how you stop crime is create opportunities. Everybody knows if you really want to stop crime or slow down crime, because crime is going to be here. Crime is part of the human experience. You're going to have somebody stealing. You're going to have some jealousy. You have somebody doing some criminal activities. Negativity will exist until we no longer exist. So it's going to be here. But you reduce crime when you create opportunities. How do you create opportunities? You create opportunities with education. How do you create education? You take some money from the $10 trillion that they spending in policing throughout the United States of America, and you put that into academia, you put that into housing, and you put that into mental health. Because guess what? There's some people suffering right now because they watched that video, they're suffering, they're scared to go outside. They're scared to go outside. There's some people suffering because that's their friend, or they know people like that. That stuff is triggering. But we're not addressing the problems. We continue to address the symptoms of a problem. If you're sneezing, if you're coughing, if you have a fever, you don't take cough medicine. You don't take antihistamines and things of that nature. What you do is you clean your house. You change your bedclothes, because guess what? It is a germ or a virus in your home. So you attack the virus first. You clean the surface areas in your house. You clean your sinks and your doorknobs and your remote controls. You spray your house down with Lysol. You change your sheets, your pillowcases, your comforters. You mop your floors of your house. You disinfect your home, and then you feed yourself. You strengthen your body to give your body the ability to fight off this virus or this germ. And then what you do is you put herbs and vitamins and minerals in your body to continue to strengthen your body. And then you get rest. You don't just take the drugs, because the drugs, it's going to stop your nose from running. It's going to reduce the fever. It's going to fight off the fever, but it's not going to do away with it. And that's what we're doing here with this. We sit around, we're going to march, and we're going to get angry, and we got to do something about this. We can do that all day long. But what you need to do is unite first and foremost. That cousin that you don't like anymore, you need to tolerate him, because if his son or friend or somebody gets hurt, you're going to have to be the person he can come turn to. Then you're going to reconcile with your family, and then you're going to reconcile with your neighborhood, then you're going to reconcile you're going to unite with your community, and you're going to, as every Sunday at my church, we do a decree, and we say, and when we leave this, the last thing he said, as soon as we leave this place, we will unite with another church and spread the gospel. Well, the gospel today is we're going to have to start loving on each other. And when we start loving on each other, we don't start loving yourself first. See, you start loving yourself. When you love yourself, then you can love somebody else. See, I love me enough to help other people. And when you love yourself enough that you can help other people, then then you encourage that person to love themselves, and then they can help other people. And then it's a chain reaction. That's how you fight this disease called hate in the United States of America. And if everybody else hates you and you love you, metaphorically, when I say you, I'm talking about yourself as well as your people. You are the people and you. Then it don't make a difference, because it's enough of us to love on each other to create a force field around each other so we won't have to be subjected to these things. And again, it ties right into the build and destroy situation. It ties right into it. How does it tie into the build and destroy? Because then you start to understand your civic duties. Then you got people in play who are going to fight for your protections. They're going to reduce these things, all these police officers. And guess what? Then they start putting police officers in your community that look just like you. And then guess what? If you got 25, 50, 75, 300 Black men and women in the Chicago Police Department that come from your community, they come from the west side of Chicago, they come from the south side of Chicago, they come from Inglewood, they come from the Manor, they come from K-Town, they come from the Austin area. It's a bunch of us out here that are being police officers. 2 weeks ago on Rapid with H-Rap, I had a police officer who come from the Holy City, and he's policing in the same community he's from. You know why? You know what that creates? That creates an inability for other people to shoot you, because they'll know, they'll be able to identify that fear that you have in your spirit at that moment. And then they'll tell their officer, stand down, he cool. And then they'll let you go. Or because it's a fraudulent traffic stop and they know you're not the person that they're looking for, they'll tell you to go, or they'll give you the citation. Either way, you go home. But when you got people who are from Lincoln Park, who are from Schiller Park, who's from Ukraine Village, who from the Loop, who from Old Town, and they police in the communities that we're from, they policing on 79th Street, they're already out there on alert. So see, this is why you need to exercise your civic duties. This is why we need to come together. Like I said, man, you don't even have to like church, but you know what? It's a bunch of men and women that look like you in that church. And it's a bunch of men and women in that community, in that church. And then you have your church, you need to tell that pastor, you need to go down the street and talk to the pastor down there. So no more marching, no more of that, no more of that. What we're going to do is start withholding our funds, and we're going to start exercising our civic duty. See, we live in a capitalistic society. And when you deal with capitalists, when you withdraw your funds and you withdraw your money, that's when people start waking up. And then when you got a city councilman who's trying to help people, impoverish people, get rent control, get subsidized housing and things of that nature, and then you create a sense of pride. And then you get simple things like garbage cans put in your community. Now you got garbage cans. How's that going to help? Because when you have garbage cans in your community and you put things in the trash receptacles, next thing you know, your neighborhood looks better. And when your neighborhood looks better, you have more pride. When you have more pride, you understand that the person, and then now you got pride in you got pride in yourself already. You got pride in your community, your surroundings. And then when somebody comes through and tries to vandalize you by destroying you or your neighbors or the property in your neighborhood, you're willing to fight for it. But we don't own these buildings. We don't own these communities. These are not our stores. And guess what? We treat it as such. That's why it looks horrible on the west side of Chicago. That's why when you drive through Inglewood, it looks horrible. You got $200,000 and $400,000 bungalows with boards up on them all over this city, with people who have substandard pay and live in substandard conditions, so they have a substandard mentality. We're going to have to stop this, y'all. We can no longer sit around and watch these young people get murdered and then try to explain it away. They ain't gonna do anything, but we can do something about it. We can police ourselves. We can police our communities. We can police our friends, our family members. We can do that. And then we can stand up and fight for the right to live. You want to know why Black unemployment is so high? Because Black people don't own the corner stores. Because you don't have to get a background check to work at the corner store, the dry cleaner, or the grocery stores. I am going to inject some of the stuff I was going to talk about tonight. Just like we love Derrick Rose, and we love Anthony Davis, and we love all these superstars who made millions of dollars, and we go buy their sneakers, and we go buy their Coke, and we go buy their Pepsis, and we go buy their rap snacks, and But we need to start compelling them to open some grocery stores in our community so we can stop shopping with everybody else. One of the more popular tropes in my community is to say we need to be more like them. Well, we're going to get away from this mentality. If they don't owe you anything, they do. Because why do you think they got those $100 million contracts? Because you sit your behind in front of that TV and you buy jerseys and you buy T-shirts and you buy. Frito-Lay don't care about no Jason Tatum. Frito-Lay don't care about no Joel Embiid or no Anthony Davis. But they know you do. That's why they put their faces on that. You think McDonald's, if they didn't think Michael Jordan or whoever it is this week, or LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, if you didn't think they could sell hamburgers, they wouldn't be on TV. But they know you love them. They know they will lead the sheep to their destruction. They selling us poison, just like they got fake food selling it to you and got you selling it to your people. So yeah, we are not going to be putting ourselves in a situation to whereas we will suffer continuously. We must come together. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And for the people who just got here, I'm going to show you the video because I don't want this image to leave your mind. This is an image that needs to stay in your mind. I will be back in a second because I want you to watch the destruction of another young Black person. This could have been the next mayor, the next alderman, the next city councilman, the next community leader, or just the next person to help a senior citizen across the street. And this is what they think about you.
Roll the windows down. Roll the window down, man. Roll the window down. What are you doing? Roll this one down. Roll that one down too. Hey, don't roll the window up. Don't roll the window up. Okay. Do not roll the window up. Unlock the doors now. Unlock the doors now. Unlock the doors now. Open the door now. Open the door now. Open the door now. Officer Score David, shots fired. Shots fired. Hey! Hey! Shots fired. Fernando Neighbors. 10-1. 10-1. Hey!
Like I said, man, mass organization is needed. That's not me. That's Stokely, Kwame Ture, formerly known as Stokely Carmine. Mass organization is needed. You need to get your friend groups, all them dudes that you watch football with, baseball with, all the people that you argue with online. I don't want to hear about no more Puff Daddy online. Why are we talking about Puff Daddy and not people getting killed in the streets? See, you're going to see in the next few days. What was that? That was on Ferdinand, right off Independence on the West Side, Charlotte, right by Garfield, by the circle. That was right over there. That was right over there. By Macon and Independence, or what is it? It's Independence so far. We got the other street that Independence turned into Independence and Summer. When you go so far north, it's one name, but y'all know what I'm talking about. If you're from Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. We need to stop Hamlin. Exactly, Hamlin. It's Hamlin on the north side, Independence on the south side. So, once you get past, I think Roosevelt Road or Madison, it's Madison in Independence. But anyway, see, we got to stop this nonsense, man. Stop finding flaws in what we're doing. That dude didn't do anything he didn't deserve to die. And they say he shot first. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like one of those dudes got trigger happy and shot towards the car, and they the ones who hit the dude in his forearm. He talking about we not gonna tolerate violence against the police. Brandon Johnson. What we need to do is start looking for somebody to replace Brandon Johnson today. He got 3 more years. Unless he does something spectacular, he got to go. And again, use the 5 Calls app. Download it, please, and find out who your state rep is, who your U.S. rep is. You know who the governor is. You know who the mayor is. And find anybody else in your community that you need to call and we need to flood their phones today. They don't need to rest this evening. We need everybody, man. Even if you're scared to call now. Call now, because guess what? And you call nationwide. You need to be saying that thing in Chicago that happened, like my man D Greg, my man Mo, my man Jungle, my girl Poe. They live in North and South Carolina. D Greg live in LA. Ray Kev gonna be watching. He in Texas. He's watching. She in Texas. Bunch of other people throughout the country. I got a sister in Oregon that's watching. Sister here in Illinois who watching. I got a niece in Virginia who watching. Cousin in Florida who watching, nephew in Florida who watching. Look, I got cousins in Georgia watching. Y'all need to be calling these people now. If you're afraid to talk to a live person and don't know what to say, just call and simply call that number right now. You call the U.S. number, Senate number, the U.S. representative number, and just say, hey, my name is Brian John Williams. I live in Chicago, Illinois. You don't have to say that, they ain't your name. But I live in Chicago, Illinois. I just watched a young man get assassinated. What are you going to do about it? And then call tomorrow. And you can call after hours every day. It's 4:30 and it's 4:45 in LA. It's 4:45 in LA. Wait 15 minutes and call. They ain't standing at no 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Call the DC office. The DC number is on there. If you're afraid, if you're uncomfortable calling, I don't even know really what to say. Tell them your name. I'm a registered voter. That thing in Chicago cannot happen where I live. What are you going to do about it? We need to be on these phones. You need to be calling your cousin who go to church, your sister who go to church, your aunt who go to church. What your pastor going to do about that? Can I come to your church and talk to your pastor Sunday? Because look, if you think that this ain't coming in your direction, Lord willing, God, Jesus, please never let it happen in your family. But if you don't think you're going to know somebody who knows somebody that this happened to, you are nuts. This has been going on for 53, almost 54 years of my life. I never met my father do the stuff like this. This is real. I done been stopped twice. I drive like an old lady. I drive like an old lady, man. And I drive slow because of this. Because I done been punched on. I done been dropped off in other gang neighborhoods. I done left my little garbage job after my freshman year of college at Subway and been pulled up on just like them in the same color car and the same type of dudes. So I know what it is. I know what it is. I watched my cousin get stripped down to his underwear. God rest his soul and make him walk a quarter mile to the crib in his underwear. I didn't watch people get robbed by the police. I can take what's in your pocket or you can take what's in mine. Yeah, this is real. And at least he lived through that. I know people who done real time and didn't do the real crime. So people, if you think this is a joke, keep playing. Lord willing, nobody who ever subscribed to my page, nobody who ever sent any donations to the cause, nobody who ever watched my program, I hope it never happens to you. But if you sure it ain't gonna happen to you, then you need to be, then you could. It's a possibility because you got this brown covering over your flesh. You need to check this situation. I'm not even gonna talk much long because the more I talk about this, the angrier I get. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. As you see across the bottom of the page, the end of the bench, go to End of the Bench Media. Please tell a friend to tune in. I'm angry as all get out. I was gonna have a little fun with the show tonight, but I had to rewrite the whole get down, man. And I still talk for 45 minutes. This is ridiculous. We need to do something about it. Mass organization is needed. Whether you're part of the Divine Nine, whether you're part of the Elks, whether you're part of the Nation of Islam, the Masonic Order, the Eastern Stars, the gangs, the street organizations, social clubs, churches, whatever you're a part of, man, you need to be talking to people, your family. You need to be talking to somebody because all of us have younger people in our family. And it's only going to get worse. They legalizing the carrying of guns. You know, one of the reasons they're legalizing the carrying of guns is so they can unabashedly shoot you. I'm not saying that it's not cool to have a gun. Have a gun. But what if you're going to the grocery store? Why you need a gun? Oh, because that dude came up in the store and shot it up. Like, what if he didn't have a gun? And I'm quite sure he ain't registered that gun. People out here creating guns. The governor he creating laws so people won't carry them, so they won't put their own gun together. And guess what? People still putting those guns together. All you do is buy the pieces individually and then put it together. You're gonna run up on my house and get it. No, you're not. So you can continue to sit back on the sideline and hope it don't happen to you. Or you can talk to your friends, you can talk to your family, you can talk to your neighbors, and you can put all this pettiness to the side and unite and come together to protect the future of your great-grandchildren's grandchildren. With that being said, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. This is HYB. This is the End of the Bench Media. It's great to come to you every week. Hopefully, I don't have to ever do this again. And as I say, I want to salute the people who give me inspiration. I do this every week. I'm going to make sure I do this all the time because you need to pay respects to the people who inspire you. And that is top to bottom, Willie D, Talib Kweli, Sway Calloway, Roland Martin, Johnson, Larry Daniel Favors, Clay Kane, Greg Carr, Karen Hunter, rest in peace to the Black Eagle, Joe Madison. I only cheated y'all out of 13 minutes. Y'all probably tired of me talking anyway. It's your man, H-Rap. And if anybody who didn't like what I had to say,
you better shut your white mouth. I'm not kidding you.
And Big Mo, take us out of here.
We lust for that cheese, we lose sleep, dreams of that cream. We killing our teens, they dying for this American dream. Them government schemes, they turning us to hustlers and fiends. We hustling trees, them politicians smuggling green. Chasing that cheese, got everybody stressed in the streets. Pardon me for speaking freely, let it breathe. Evangelists preach the congregations out of their seats. They writing them checks for tithes, now it's people can't eat. She stripping for change for school, now she giving them brains. She used to that loot, she earning, now she giving them strain. He new to this game, but hungry, so he cooking his cane. He getting that paper, but then they gave him two to the brain. It's rules to this game, but hustlers never hustle for fame. The spirit of greed is grimy, so we struggle to change. They put us in chains to take away our African names. But if we submissive and don't resist, then who do we blame? It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders are slain. They gave us Obama, but that nigga was hoping for change. But Zimmerman is killing niggas and he free. Shit is crazy, babies having these babies and getting checked. But keep the child from they pop to rip his heart out his chest. Our rappers was leaders and now they in the booth and the dress. Spitting bullshit and making more but giving us less. They taking our sound and changing ours, dumbing it down. They taking our jobs and homes and they shutting us out. They taking our kids because it ain't a man in the house. They locking us down, but soon they gon' be wiping us out. They told our women they was too independent to need a man. They told our brother he was too insignificant to advance. It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain. It's all a game.